Hello. So I'm going to make an explanation about the cloze question type, cloze spelled with a Z. Okay, and this is a particular quiz question type. And first of all, I'll just kind of show you what this what it looks like in a test. So I've made this test, and here are the settings that I set up the quiz with. Okay, so I'm not going to go into actually the quiz settings, but just as a summary. It's set up with unlimited attempts, so you can do this as many times as you want. Of course, if this was a real test, you'd put just one attempt. I've turned off the review option, so when you finish the test, it doesn't show correct answers and stuff like that. And I've turned on shuffle questions so that it does enable that the answers inside the questions will be shuffled. So when I have a question and there's like A, B, C, those will be shuffled randomly from test to test. Okay, so let's go into the preview to just show you what it looks like. Okay, here I've put a description just to tell you the different options you can use for cloze type questions. So cloze type questions, you can do short answer, you can do numerical answers, and multiple choice. Okay, short answer, you can make them case sensitive with a C or not. There are abbreviations, so when you choose to do a short answer, you can write short answer, or you can do the abbreviation SA, and SAC would be short answer, case sensitive. Okay. Same with multiple choice. Here's multiple choice, and you can use the abbreviation MC if you want as well too. So using a simple multiple choice, this will come as like a drop-down box of your answer. So you click on the drop-down box and you can see the various answers. But sometimes you may want all the answers to show up, so that's when you can choose this option, multiple choice vertical, which makes all the answers show up in a vertical fashion. H for horizontal, your choices will show up horizontally. Okay, and here is where we get into the shuffling option. So if you want your answers to be shuffled within the questions, you just add on that S on there. Okay, so these ones will not be shuffled, and they will always appear in the same order. So let me just show you how these different options are affected. So this is the one with just simply the MC, okay, multiple choice, and whoever takes the test, these answers will always be in this order, okay? And this will always be 1, 2, 3, okay? The second one here, I turned on the shuffling, so I did MC S, multiple choice shuffling, and you'll see here that they should be shuffled. As you can see, 1, 4, 3, 2. So that has actually been shuffled, where this one always remains in order. Okay, and you can see here this has been shuffled too, compared to this. Okay, so that's with shuffling. Here's an example where I want them not to display as a drop down, but I want them to see like all the answers. So I find these useful for listening type questions. If for teaching language, I used these before, where I had like a listening, and it's useful for them to actually see the answers while they're listening. So it might have other uses too, where you want people to actually see the answers instead of having a drop-down box. Okay, and here is short answer, and basically they just have to type in the answer, and they have to type in the answer exactly how it's spelled. If they make a spelling mistake, it will be considered as wrong. So you have to be kind of careful about that. I don't know, you may have to go back in the test and kind of like double check people's answers if you're going to allow for spelling mistakes and stuff like that. And also keep in mind, if somebody puts like an extra space, that is also considered wrong. So for example, if the answer to this question was capital Italy, and they put ROME space, and they put that space by accident, it will be marked as wrong. So it does have its limitations. So let me get out of this, and I'll show you how it is to actually set up some of these questions. So I'll just get out of this, and let's go in and edit the quiz itself. Now the way this is set up is, you can see that I've created them in various questions. And the first one was that description, where I had all that text talking about all the different types of questions with case sensitive, non-case sensitive, vertical, horizontal. That was that description here. And that just comes from adding new question. And you can go down here, you can add a description if you just want to write some text, some instructions or something like that. that's often useful. For the other ones, here, this is the first multiple choice that I made. This is the one that always kept the same order, that had no shuffling. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's go and edit that. And basically, what you do is just write any text, and whenever you want a drop-down box, you have to use this format. And the way it works is it uses a curly bracket, and you do need that curly bracket. The number here is how much the question is worth, so this is worth 1 point. So if you want it worth 2 points, 3 points, or whatever, you'll have to change that number. MC stands for multiple choice, like I said. If you want it shuffling, you'll have to put MCS. If you want short answer, then SA. Right? Short answer case sensitive, SAC. Right? So here is just simple multiple choice, and each of my possibilities, Milan, Rome, Venice, Catania, I have 4 possibilities. Each possibility is separated by this tilde. Now, on the Italian keyboard, this is kind of a pain to get to. I actually switch my keyboard to the American keyboard to do it, and it's Shift and the key that's next to the number 1 in the top corner. But if you're not used to using the American keyboard, the only other way to do this is to hold down the Alt key. So hold down the Alt, press 1, 2, and 6. And then as soon as you let go of the Alt key, this tilde will appear. Kind of a pain, but that's the way to do it. Anyways, so each answer separated by a tilde, and the correct answer, you just put an equal sign in front of the correct answer. Okay? So here you can see that I have the correct answer as the second answer. And if I don't have shuffling, then it might be kind of fishy that people say, oh, why is it always the second answer that's the correct answer? So that's up to you if you want to turn on shuffling or not within the answers, let's say. Or within the question, so the answers being shuffled. Okay, and I don't think you have to play around with any of the other options. So let's go back here, and I'll show you some of the other ones. So this is same questions, this time with shuffling. So the only thing that changed here is I use MCS with shuffling. So even though I have the correct answer to the second one, this will appear in any random order. So it could go Catania, Venice, Rome, Milan, or Milan, Venice, Rome, Catania. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 4, 2, 3, 1. Okay, it's shuffling. The answers get shuffled. Okay, let's go back. And this is the one with the vertical answers, the ones with all the answers appearing without the drop-down box. And yeah, MC, multiple choice, vertical. And you can see that I have S here for shuffle. So these things will be shuffled, so they'll all appear, and they will appear in a random order, answers. Okay, and then the last one here, short answer. So I made a few here. So this is short answer that's case sensitive, so they will need that capital R on there. This is short answer, and I don't have the C, so it's not case sensitive, so they could write in all small letters, they could write in all capital letters, and it would accept all of them. Okay. With short answer, you can actually make multiple correct answers. Okay, so when you make multiple correct answers, you just put each of the correct answers, and I think I'm missing a tilde here. Oh, 1, 2, 6. Okay, so your correct answers are separated with a tilde, and you just put an equal sign. So I just double checked there, and yes, I did make a mistake. So your answers do need to be separated with that tilde. So red will be accepted, green will also be accepted, right? 2 equal sign. And remember here, you always need that equal sign to make the correct answer. Okay, so get used to that format. It's kind of weird at the beginning, but as soon as you get used to it, or if you have a template for it, you can just kind of fill it in, and it'll be rather quick. Okay, so the advantage of using this cloze style question is you can make many questions at once. So for example, you can see here that I can simply make 3 questions all in the same question. It's a bit confusing. Let me just kind of clarify that up. When I make a closed question, when I do add, and I go to this cloze question, it makes one of these. So each one of these is considered a question. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In Moodle, this considers 4 question types. Okay, and inside this one question, I can have as many of these as I want. So I can make like 10 multiple choice questions here very quickly. Okay, just by using question and then list of answers, question, list of answers, question, list of answers. And I can make multiple choice questions very, very quickly and short answer questions very, very quickly. Okay, so that's why I like cloze answers, cloze questions. The disadvantage is that these will always come up in the same order. Okay, so let's preview this. And question 1 will always be what's capital Italy. Question 2 will always be what color is red, and question 3 will always be how many eyes do I have. These cannot be shuffled. Okay, so that's the drawback of cloze questions. The only thing that Moodle can shuffle, so if I click this, it can shuffle these questions. Okay, so if I click on shuffle here, what might happen is the short answer question might come first, and then maybe this one comes second, and then this comes third. Okay, so that's the only way to shuffle. So my suggestion is, if you do use the cloze type question, make your questions in chunks. So 5 questions at a time, for example. So if I make, 5 of these, and each one contains 5 cloze questions, then at least you'll get some sort of shuffling in between the different 5. So maybe your last 5 come up first, and then your second 5 come up next, and then your first 5 come up after that. Okay, so that's how you would shuffle with cloze. Otherwise, inside just one question, the questions cannot shuffle. Okay, so that's a disadvantage, and be aware of that. Okay, comparing to the other multiple choice types questions. So if you don't use cloze, you have to make your multiple choice questions one at a time. Okay, so adding a question, you go multiple choice, and then it's just one question. Question name, capital. What is the capital of Rome? Capital of Italy, sorry. And then you'll have to, as you can see here, you can shuffle the choices, right? And then you have this choice to make it just one answer, but you can also make questions that have multiple answers, so you can choose 2 of the 4 or 3 of the 4. So you can do that as well too. And the way you set it up is, here are your different choices. So one is Rome, one is Venice, and a choice being Milan. You can make as many choices as you want, right? 4 choices, 5 choices. Then you can add more if you want to make a really difficult multiple choice. And then the correct answer, you just click here and you put 100%. Okay. Whereas if you put multiple answers, you can make one worth 50% and the other worth 50%, something like that. Okay. But for just one answer, you set that to 100%. Okay. Click Save Changes, and there you have one question. And then you have to make the next question, repeating that same process, making a second question, repeat that process, make the third one. And you can kind of see that if I have a 20 question test or a 50 question test, that can get kind of tedious, let's say. Whereas if I did a cloze test, I could make my 20 questions rather quickly just by making my 12 questions, listing. I could even copy and paste that template and just kind of fill it in, and I could easily make 20 questions quite quickly with a cloze style test. Okay, so that's the difference between using cloze and using your traditional multiple choice or short answer questions. Okay, but the advantage of the traditional multiple choice is, if you turn on shuffling, you have all those as separate questions and they will shuffle. Hope that was helpful.